Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Girl You Know What. We're on episode 7, and this one, we could have titled this one Potpourri as well, Potpourri 2, but we're going to call it something else because we're just going to, after we had a few weeks, excuse me, everybody, after we had a few weeks of just topics where we specifically focused on those topics, and some of them got a little heavy. We're going to just have a little fun.
Lighten the mood.
Yeah, there you go, lighten the mood. So as always, I am your host Tahir,
and I'm Keisha,
and we're just going to get right into it. Now the funny thing is, like, we always talk on mic before we start the show, and it's mainly just so we can just discuss what we're going to be talking about even more in depth, and also so I can test the microphone, make sure we both sound okay, make sure I can hear her, she can hear me, make sure it's coming through good on the program that I use and everything like that. And we just started just talking just about music, and mainly, and me, I would love to do a whole episode on music because I can.
We will.
Yeah, but we were talking about, like, I was saying how I went to the store at home for the very first time, and I'm not an interior designer, but I love decorating. I do. It's just something that I've always loved doing. And right now, since I'm in my office basically 24/7 because I've been working from home, and then I'm in here all night after work. When I'm home, I'm in my office. If I'm not in my office, then I'm in bed going to sleep. That's pretty much how I roll now. But I was just talking about how I went in at home for the very first time, and Keisha started singing "Let's Hear It for the Boy" by Denise Williams. And I was just like, oh my gosh. I was like, and that's how I told her I went in at home for the first time. And people who don't know what at home is, it's just a store, like, it's like a Home Goods. It's a little more expensive, but it's not ridiculous.
It's very large.
It's very large. I mean, it has and everything that you could want. See, I was in there like, I was in there like in heaven. But that song was playing as soon as I walked in, and there were black people singing it, white people singing it. It was just funny. It was like a chorus going on in that store, and we were just like, everyone,
the
like,
80s
in the
were amazing.
80s, yes. The 80s, it didn't matter what was on the radio, it didn't matter what station you listened to. The 80s were just everything when it came to music and movies. But
yes.
Yeah, so what were you saying about, like, just the different songs and stuff like that, and just like how you just stayed in front of the TV?
Yeah, like all the music, there was no, oh, that's black music, oh, that's white music. Maybe in the 70s. I can't even say in the 70s, because white people loved Earth, Wind and Fire, Kool and the Gang, like,
girl, they love Motown, everything.
Everybody's music back then. And I think, now let me not be ignorant, and like they used to call Motown back then, they used to call it race music.
Right.
I completely understand that. But in the 80s, everybody listened to the same music.
It was like it took a shift. It was just like, okay, music is music, and we can...
Absolutely.
And I think it was this too, now that you said that, people were more comfortable listening to each other's music openly. Let's just put it, I think that's a good way to put it, but go ahead.
Yeah. Because, there were still bands from the 70s, were still popular, but when Michael Jackson, Cyndi Lauper, Whitney Houston, that music it crossed racial lines.
Yes. It was just fun. It was
even
fun.
Tina Turner. I ain't had no business listening to Private Dancers, but
singing along.
Listen, and used to be singing it hard too.
Listen.
Dance for money.
Listen. Either I was a private dancer or he was. Girl.
You ain't had no business singing Private Dancer, but we listened. And you know what shocked me?
What's that?
About Tina Turner's documentary. I don't know if people got a chance to look at it, but I think it came on HBO, and it's just called Tina. And if you have HBO, if you go to your on demand, if you just type it in the search, you should be able to see it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that. I love Tina Turner.
What struck me is that she talked about how they gave her such pushback because of her age. And
I could see that. I could see
but
that.
now today I understand that. But when I was a little kid listening to Tina Turner, I wasn't thinking like, I never looked at her and said, "Oh, who is this old lady?"
Right. I mean,
Like
because
as a
she looked
kid,
good,
I
the
just was
clothes that
like,
she wore, you didn't
"What's
think that she was
love got to do?" Like,
girl in that mini skirt just
I didn't
coming walking
consider her
down.
age.
No, you didn't think about that.
I didn't think about it one bit. So it was kind of strange for me to hear her say that, and I was thinking like, "Wow, they gave you such a hard time about something that I don't think anybody. It never crossed my mind."
Never. I never thought about that till you said something. I knew she was older, you know, quote unquote, than like she was older than
Yeah, I think
Madonna and
she would
Janet
be
and all
how old
them.
we are. Like I think she
Right.
was in her
Yeah, she
40s.
had to have been in her 40s then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I do
Wow.
remember I remember that being a thing. Like she said, like she was 40 or like 40 something, and she was definitely in her early 40s. I think she was just 40.
Yeah.
And she said they gave her a prize, and I was thinking like, and now and I had to go back in my mind and think about those videos that she was in, and I was like, it never felt out of place to me. Like maybe it was the innocence of being a kid, but I never once. But you know, kids is honest and mean, so I never looked at it like she old. Like I never thought that about her.
And you know what?
I never even heard my big mama say it. Like, and that's who used to let me watch videos. Like my grandma, you know, was saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost.
Okay.
You don't watch no videos at her house. Nothing. Right. I used to watch. I couldn't even watch no cartoons. I had to watch Gospel Bill and Superbook and the Flying House.
Girl,
all those cartoons came on TVN. So Big Mama let me watch everything.
Yeah.
So I never even heard Big Mama say like, "What her old?" Like she never even said anything about her age. So it was weird for me to hear her say that.
Yeah. And when you said it, I was just like, wow, like she really was. It never crossed, even like you said, we're the age that she was at that time now. And I never even thought about it. It was just like, it was just Tina Turner. You know what I mean? It was just Tina doing her thing. Wow. But that ageism is a huge thing. It really is.
For women.
For women. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, it definitely. Yeah.
For women, because Michael Bolton been standing up there screaming at the top of his lungs. He ain't never not looked 60 for one
never.
Day. And ain't nobody said nothing to him.
Never. Not even when we were 10, he looked 60.
No.
Let's just keep it a buck. He just never. No.
Girl. And then the other one that Patti LaBelle was singing with.
Oh, Michael McDonald. Yes.
Yeah. Him too.
He looked.
They all looked old.
And they were at that time.
Nobody said nothing to them.
Nothing. I mean, he had gray hair then, but was singing his tail off.
His hair was gray.
Yeah. But they ain't say nothing. He was just sitting there.
Nothing to him about being old.
Okay, while Patty up there in her jet black wigs. Come on now. Listen. You know what I mean? Stop it. Stop it. But that's funny that you say that. The thing, like, when you were talking about watching music videos, I used to watch music videos all evening. Well, even like during the summer or the weekend, all day. It would stay on the box and BET. I would just go back and forth between those two. You know, I mean, and the only time like I really started watching MTV was when MTV Jams and Yo MTV Raps came on.
Oh, no, I was watching MTV from way back.
Well, you know, but I didn't really know much about MTV.
Yeah.
You know, like until like I mean, I knew about it, but I really didn't get into MTV truly, and it wasn't even MTV Jams or Yo MTV Raps. It was The Real World, which was really what got me into.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but I never really paid attention to MTV because I just always strictly watched music videos on. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that I never saw like a Boy George or a Wham video or something like that. You know, maybe flipping around on to VH1 or MTV, but I'm saying I never got into it.
Boy George, I left his name out. Yes.
Girl, boy,
Yes.
George. Yes, Karma
Culture
Committee.
Club. It was Culture
Culture
Club back
Club.
then.
Yeah, he was Culture Club. Yeah, you're
Culture
right.
Club and Wham.
Wham.
Careless Whisper. Oh,
Girl, let me say
Lord.
this about George Michael. I don't give it. You can fight me. Anybody can fight me. We can box, whatever. George Michael had one of the best voices ever. It was just
Oh,
so
God, yes.
clean, clear. Oh my gosh, I miss his voice. I mean, of course we could still listen to him, but I mean, he had one of the best voices ever. I'm sorry, he did.
Yes. Nothing. Listen, Careless Whisper.
Mm.
It's a true
Oh
classic.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Nothing can touch that.
No.
But
Nothing.
I love Careless Whisper. I
Mm-hmm.
love Culture Club.
Yes.
And that's why I say I listened to MTV back then
Mm-hmm.
when it was Cyndi Lauper
Oh
and
yeah.
Madonna. They didn't have but a couple videos in the beginning.
Right.
Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Rock With You, the one with the sparkly suit.
Yeah, that yep. Mm-hmm.
And when he was walking down the street and it was lighting up.
Mm-hmm.
Billie Jean
Yeah.
is not my
Billy
lover.
Yeah,
So
Billie
yeah.
Jean, yeah. Uh-huh.
So it was only a couple videos and they was in heavy rotation.
Right. Right.
They did news. I think they did some news. I feel like I saw Kurt Loder
Yeah, I think
from
he
back then.
yeah, because they would come on and they did this like even throughout the 90s. They like would come on like I think they had their own show that was like a half hour long, but they would come in like I think at the top or
Every
the
top of
bottom
the
of every
hour, like right at
yeah.
that 11 or whatever,
Mhm.
2:58 to
Yeah.
3, they would give the news.
Every
Which to
on
me,
time.
y'all really need to go back to that.
I mean, seriously.
I don't know what y'all doing over there now,
Why is it
but
still called MTV? Why is it still called why is it music television video or music video? What the hell ever it stands for?
they can't music television. They
Music
can't get away
television.
from that.
Yeah, they can't get away from that, obviously. But they still
And
got the
I
nerve to
will
have the
say this,
VMAs.
but I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
So when I lived in Alabama, this was back in had to be 2007 or 2006.
Right.
So when I would be up getting ready for work, I think about 5 o'clock in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
they always play videos.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They
Oh
play them for
yeah.
about an hour or two. But so people are still making music videos, right?
Yeah, they still make music videos, but they're usually on they
They put
usually
them on YouTube.
yeah, put it right directly to their YouTube page. Yep. And I know for a while they were doing Vivo. I don't even know if they still do that anymore. I haven't even heard nothing about Vivo anymore. That turned into like the music video platform where everybody would upload their video to there. But now I
Oh,
think it
okay.
just goes directly to their YouTube page.
Yeah, because everybody had a Vivo page
Mm-hmm.
on. And then I remember like you would try to share Vivo stuff and it would be like, you can't share this.
Oh, they
I'm
had that
like,
on lockdown, girl, because that's where they were putting all their stuff. They were like, if you want to see this video, they're going to have to come over here.
you have to
Pretty
come
much.
to their platform.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the real world,
Yeah.
and that leads us right into what we are talking about today.
Finally.
Reality TV.
Child,
Y'all been waiting on this, I think, because y'all know how we feel about reality TV.
Okay, right.
I think y'all been waiting on this.
Right. Now, I will admit that, and we're going to talk about how we got into reality TV, like the both of us were going to talk about how, but I don't really watch much reality TV anymore. I do, but I don't.
Yeah.
Like I'll catch an episode, like if somebody posts something, then I'll, be like, oh, let me check this out. But I don't really get into it and get into the people on there anymore like I used to.
Yeah, like we used to.
Yeah.
But I will say, I do watch. I don't know if it would be considered traditional reality TV,
Mm-hmm.
but I like to call it social experiment reality TV. I'm all about that.
Yeah. That's what I watch too. Yeah, I mainly watch that. Yeah. Now,
and I don't know if people know that there are categories. Like
there are.
We ain't talking about like, okay, and let me tell you why this is so funny. You brought up the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Because the real world would be considered social experiment reality TV.
Exactly.
It is not what reality TV became with like Basketball Wives and stuff.
Right. That's a totally different, and I want to talk about
that. That's a totally different genre of like quote unquote reality TV.
Yeah, and I want to talk about how because I was thinking about this when we discussed talking about this before. I was like, when did reality TV make that shift? And I think I know when. So let me just go ahead and get into it.
Okay, we're gonna pay ourselves for that. Okay.
Yeah. So,
but I think everybody.
Mm-hmm.
MTV, if I'm remembering correctly,
Mm-hmm.
MTV is who changed that. They started reality TV
Yeah, they
with
started
the
real.
real world.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
if people are younger, they don't necessarily remember the real world.
And we're not talking about this real world road rules challenge stuff or nothing like that. No, we're
Oh
talking
hell
about the
no.
original real
We're
world.
talking about the real world from like, was that like 92? Like
I
what
think
year
the
was
very
that?
first one was 91 or 92, if
Yeah,
I'm
it
not.
was like
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah, the real world New York, the very first one.
When they randomly picked, what is it, seven strangers to live
Mm-hmm.
in a loft and have
Mm-hmm.
their lives taped.
Yeah.
So
So find
people
out what
stop
happens.
being
Stop being
something and
polite
start being
and
real.
start being real, girl. And it
That was
was
the intro.
everything. Yeah. Now I will say up until the first maybe 10, 11 seasons, and I can't even remember what when I actually, I think the last one that I actually watched was like the first Vegas one. I think that was, then after that it started getting a little too ratchet, and that's when I
Yeah.
think reality TV started taking its turn, because up until that point we were teenagers and young, very young adults, and I think that when it started, I would say like the mid 2000s, when it started taking that turn into the
I'm gonna tell
ratchetness.
you when I think the shift happened in reality TV. I want to hear what you think the shift was,
Okay.
and I'm gonna tell you who I think shifted reality TV.
Okay. You want me to go first?
Who do you think it
I
was?
think it was the Osbournes.
I think it was Jerry Springer.
I never thought about that.
It was Jerry Springer because that,
I never
and
put
I'm gonna
him in
tell you,
that category. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
it was
sorry.
Jerry Springer because, like you just said, how the real world got ratchet.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Springer was the first ratchet TV. Jerry Springer
Yes.
was what people wanted to see.
Yeah.
When Jerry Springer took that shift and started letting people fight on his
Mm-hmm.
show, even Ricky Lake,
Yeah, because she started getting
when
real ratchet towards the end of her show
exactly
because she had to
when
compete.
yes, when they
Mm-hmm.
started filming fights
Mm-hmm.
and playing fights on their show,
Mm-hmm.
that is when they saw, the reality TV people saw, there was like this surge or this want
Mm-hmm.
to see people acting a fool on TV. And then
Yes.
you see the entrance of things like the Bad Girls Club
Mm-hmm.
and Flavor of Love.
Yeah. Oh, girl. Yes.
Because to be truthful, Basketball Wives was not meant to be ratchet TV.
No.
Because they were bougie. Like, that
Yeah.
was like,
There were no fight. They
we've
didn't do
been
no
with
fighting.
athletes, we too cute to fight.
And you saw that, like,
Cute
as the
girls.
seasons went on, when they put the younger girls on there to do that. Now let's keep it real, they put the younger girls on there to be
Well,
ratchet, but then the older
no.
ones were like, oh well, we don't do that. Yep, girl, stop it. But go ahead. But
Let me tell
yeah.
you this. Now we gonna connect the dots, and God bless her soul. I ain't got an ill will towards this woman, but let me tell you something. Tammy Roman
Tammy Roman.
ruined that season of the. So see, now y'all don't know Tammy from the real world.
Listen.
Tammy Roman was such an asshole on the real world.
Yes.
She thought she was the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if her and Kenny was still married. No, she
No,
had
she
not
didn't
met
marry him
Kenny yet.
until after. Yeah, she
She had
didn't.
not met Kenny
Yeah,
yet.
because when they had the very first reunion, where I think it was like the first 3 or 4 seasons, she had gotten married within that time. So it was after she did the Real World.
So Tammy thought, like, I'm the shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then she brought herself on over to Basketball Wives.
Years later.
And she had to eat a piece of humble pie.
Mm-hmm.
And she turned Basketball Wives into Bang Bang Shoot 'em Up. She did that.
She did that completely. Yeah.
When she did that jump off with her and Evelyn,
Child.
Basketball Wives ain't been the same since then.
And see, here's the thing about Evelyn. Evelyn, she played that bougie role, and you could tell that she didn't want to fight. She wasn't that girl.
No.
But she's a fight, but she will fight you, and she lets you know
Yeah.
that. So then she turned into that
Boricua
girl.
in her. She gonna fight
Listen,
you.
okay, hello,
Look, she gonna fight.
okay. And see, that's the thing too. It's like Tammy was ratchet on reality TV back in what, 92, when the
Yeah,
real
she
world.
always been
She
ratchet.
always been ratchet, but
And
then
now she didn't have nothing to lose because she didn't have anything.
exact. Thank
You know,
you.
after her divorce, she was struggling.
Yep.
She was, you could see the hate in her. She was jealous of what they had.
She looked older then than she does now because
Yes,
she was
because
so
she was
stressed out.
struggling.
Yeah.
You know, she was mad.
Yeah.
And now that we're here, I just want to assess this relationship really fast.
Okay.
Tammy. So now, y'all, I know this is gonna sound crazy to people because people who can't imagine a time before the internet. When Evelyn told Tammy, didn't nobody know who you was.
Right.
We don't have the internet like we have it today. Where you can Google somebody and say who he married to, or who's his wife, or who he in a relationship with, where they got all these pictures of celebrities, you know, where paparazzi was crazy. Like, paparazzi used to follow real celebrities.
Right.
Like the big celebrities.
Yeah.
Like the Princess Dianas and like the people who sold the magazines, Michael Jackson,
right,
Janet Jackson. Like, they didn't follow these no-name people.
No, they wouldn't have wasted their. They might have got a picture here and there just to show that they were out having fun, but it wasn't nothing trying to catch them in the act of anything.
So I think people really were like critical of Evelyn when she said, you was a non-fucking factor. Like, nobody knew you.
Stop it.
But it was a real thing, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Kenny was so scandalous. Remember, Kenny was with Spinderella.
Yeah. Do they have
and Evelyn openly said it. Evelyn and Jennifer said it.
Oh, yeah.
We thought she was his woman.
Yep.
So again, you was a knife. We didn't know you. We never seen you with Kenny.
Yeah, like, where did you come from?
When we did see Kenny with his woman, he was with Spinderella. He was with her.
Right. And for those of you who don't know Kenny, we're talking about Kenny Anderson. He was a former basketball player. That's who Tammy married. Yeah, basketball star. I'm sorry. Yes, he was. Star. He was a star, honey. Yes, he was. He was one of the greater point guards at that time. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah. So she told him, we thought she was his woman. And again,
I remember that.
Hold on, because him and Spinderella were engaged. He asked that girl to marry him. And you was his wife. So I really feel like she should have projected that energy to Kenny.
Yeah. But it's that
as women, we got
anger.
this bad where we like to holler at other women.
Yeah. Instead of holding the man accountable, especially if it's your man.
Was with Kenny.
Yeah. And you took it out on the world, honey.
Honey, and you took it out on everybody.
Everybody. Kenny made you look like a fool in those streets. And you took it out on everybody.
A fool, because if any time somebody I'm your wife, and they associate your girlfriend as your wife,
baby,
and it got to be true, because Tammy and Spinderella got a daughter that's the same age.
I was gonna say, because I could have sworn that, because I said, I was like, they have a daughter together, right?
Yeah. Or Spinderella's daughter is younger than Tammy,
but they're very close because Tammy has two daughters. Yes. Who are grown now. They're all grown now. They're all adults, like, I should say. Something. Yeah, they're in their early 20s.
Spinderella's daughter might be what, 19?
Yeah, they're technically quote unquote all grown, but they're very close in age. But they're still young. They're still young enough, yeah.
So, you know, that's when I think it took. Jerry Springer kind of turned the corner.
That was excellent.
Ratchetness.
I'd never thought, because I could definitely see. I would have been like, oh, well, that's when, when Jerry Springer came about. Yeah, that's when not reality. That's what I'm trying to get to. But
Jerry Springer would, I think, talk shows consider themselves to be reality as well.
Yeah, they're just talk shows. So I never would have put them in the same category. But that is so true. Yeah, I never thought about that.
But when they started when Jerry Springer started letting people fight,
Mm-hmm.
it got out of control after
Yeah.
that.
I mean, it
Now
would.
everybody has somebody in there. They're putting people in hot-bedded situations to intentionally make them fight.
Right, exactly. And I mean, and it's sad, but we would still watch it because you could tell when, like, you could count down to when the fists were going to start flying.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because you know that they put them in that situation to do that. You know, and not just
It's why the Housewives has lost its luster,
yeah.
honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's like, look, I understand y'all be mad.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I watch the Housewives of Beverly Hills, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and Orange County, because they rich.
Right.
And at a certain level of,
I mean, they real rich. I mean, they're real money.
they rich for real.
Yeah, rich for real. Yeah.
And when you rich for real,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of shit is beneath you.
Yeah.
Like Heather Dubrow, Terry Dubrow's wife.
Yes.
From y'all know Terry Dubrow from Botched. If some people watch Botched, the doctor, not the short one, Paul, but Terry.
Yeah.
They hated Terry Dubrow's wife on The Real Housewives of Orange County so much that she got off of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And now she just came back this season.
Oh, did she? See, I haven't watched it.
I don't miss an episode. Okay. Now that is a show that I watch. Like, I don't fast forward through, because I fast forward through the rest of this stuff, if I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I DVR just about everything. Because who has time to actually watch that much TV? Mm-hmm. Nobody.
No.
I DVR. I mean, I fast forward through almost everything. Even Sisters, the Tyler Perry show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I fast forward through all that stuff.
Right.
And I just stop it when I'm like, okay, this look interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, let me see what they're saying. Like, the rest of that, I fast forward through. But those Orange County ladies, I watch it because I like Heather Dubrow.
I do too. I've always liked her. I've always liked her and Vicky. And I think that's when I stopped watching with Vicky. I mean, just talk about it. Go ahead.
Heather has too much. Listen, and they be so mad because she's so unbothered. Like,
that's the thing.
You know, she's like, well, let's just enjoy ourselves. Mm-hmm. Try your cocktail.
Yeah.
I don't got time for that.
And if you want a lesson in gathering somebody extremely classy, watch Heather Dubrow.
Watch Dubrow.
Mm-hmm. But like you said, she is completely unbothered because she's just like, look, I got this husband. I got this beautiful, large, ridiculous house.
I got these kids.
I got these kids.
The Syracuse.
Okay.
My kids is going on college tours. See, she embodies what the housewives should be.
Exactly. What it started out as.
Exactly. What it started out as.
And Orange County was the first one, so they should be the blueprint.
A wealthy woman living her wealthy lifestyle with some of her other wealthy friends and a little spat here and there.
Here and there, because I mean everyone has, and not just women.
Because everybody don't get along.
No, especially when you put a whole bunch of people together, everybody ain't gonna get along. Come on now.
Yeah, everybody's not gonna like each other, which is understandable. But bitch, you gonna respect me in this house.
Listen,
when you come in this 32 square foot thousand. Listen, I don't know how much square feet that house is. It's ridiculous.
They made it up, whatever the number is.
At least gotta be 15 to 20.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah, if y'all haven't seen that house,
huge.
Google the house. Just Google it. Google Heather Dubrow's house, and you.
Last episode, they were in her basement, and I was like, "What's happening here? What's happening? Is this down? You went down some steps? I thought this was upstairs. What is happening?" It was like a casino down there.
See?
And she had it decorated. Listen, she is the ultimate party planner. She is going to put on, and she is going to make sure Terry is okay. She takes good care of her husband.
Yes, that's the thing people don't realize. He may be out here working his ass off.
Example of a housewife.
Yes. I was just getting ready to say that. He's out here working his ass off, but she takes care of that man, and she takes care of that house.
And she said it, and she's very open about, yes, we've had struggles, not like infidelity struggles, but Terry's such a successful plastic surgeon. I've got to kind of, we had to kind of have a come to Jesus moment. Like, listen, you're working too much, and these kids is growing up, and they need you to see you.
Right.
But he was trying to grow his business. You
Mm-hmm.
need a woman like her when you're trying to grow your business, though.
Exactly.
Right.
Listen.
She's definitely she should be the model.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you're not going to be able to get 6 shows full of her,
Right.
but she should be the standard.
Yeah.
And then you should pick the lesser.
Right. And and I will say this, like, how we mentioned that Orange County was the original, it was the foundation of
Yeah.
what the series was going to be. But then when you had the next one was Atlanta, right? I
Was it
believe.
Atlanta?
No, it was New
Yeah, I
York. Was
think.
it New York or Atlanta? Because I want to say New York, Atlanta, and New Jersey started like within a year of each other.
I
I
th-
I can't
was Jersey
remember.
before Atlanta?
I can't
I
remember.
think Jersey was before Atlanta.
Okay, well, but the thing is, they all still embody, even the very first season of Atlanta. We knew
Oh
that they
God,
weren't going to
yes.
be the same as the Orange County girls. And I'm not just talking about them being black. I'm just talking about just in general, it's two different areas, regardless of how bougie Atlanta wants to be. Sorry, Atlanta, I love y'all, but let's just keep it
They
real.
need some different
They
housewives.
needed some different housewives. And if you had to get a group of black women from Atlanta to diversify the show, that's what it needed to be. And then when you had New Jersey come on, that was a different type of money. People don't really look at Jersey as people having money, because everybody looks at Jersey as just like it being just Jersey. You know what I mean? Let's just keep it real.
Mm.
And then you had New York, which of course people know that people in New York, you got to have money to be on this show and living in New York. I mean, let's just keep it real, but they brought a different aspect as well. So that was a good thing. Like the very first 4 seasons of that show, the very first 4 franchises, I should say, Orange County, Atlanta, New York, and New Jersey, they all brought something different, but it was still a great show because you got that different hodgepodge of different people,
Right.
but it was still like they were all, and well, I can't say they all, but most of them were housewives, but they ran their houses different. You know what I mean? Like you had
Right.
you had women who were just housewives, and I'm not saying just housewives, but that's what they did. Then you had women like Vicky Gumbelson who had a career,
Mm-hmm.
but she still ran her house. She still took care of her children at the time she was married. They didn't have the best relationship, but you could tell that, she
Who
still,
was that you said?
Vicky from
Oh yeah,
Orange
yeah, yeah,
County.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just using her as an
Because
example
she was
because
another person that worked and worked and worked.
exactly. She was
But
like,
see, I guess it's different when, like how we said, Terry worked and
mm-hmm,
he was building a business, and Heather was at home. It's
right.
probably, and I think Don worked,
Yeah,
but
but
it
he
was
didn't work as,
different because your
mm-hmm,
wife is the one that's so successful,
right. I mean, he
and
worked and he had a
she's
good job
building.
and good money, but he didn't have Vicky money, so it
He
was a
didn't have
little
the money that
different.
she was making.
Right.
So I found the dates: Real Housewives of Orange County 2006,
Mm-hmm.
New York 2008, Atlanta 2008,
Oh,
Jersey 2009.
okay. So I
So
knew they
New
were like
York
within
was
a
in
year.
March of 2008, and
Mm-hmm.
then Atlanta was in October of 2008.
Okay. Yeah, because they still start their new seasons like around the fall. So,
Oh,
okay.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, so that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I knew those three were kind of close, but I knew it was like a
yeah.
gap between Orange County to when they brought a new city on. Okay.
I was watching Salt Lake City for a while.
I
Um,
watched like the first 3 episodes and I was turned off. I don't know what it was, but I couldn't get
so
into that
what
one.
turned me?
Mm-hmm.
So I already thought that they were a little bias of Mary.
Mm-hmm. Oh
And I do
yeah.
understand that Mary's background was weird. We do not
Mm-hmm.
have to all get people's background.
Right.
I completely, I'm with that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so some of the white ladies on the show. Now here we have Jen, who is actively under investigation by the FBI,
Girl.
the DEA. It was a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, a
Okay,
whole bunch
all
of
the
them
alphabets.
initials. Okay.
All the alphabets is investigating her for fraud.
Basically. Mm-hmm.
A fraud that it does seem like she committed.
Right.
Allegedly, from
Mm.
what the evidence is showing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been going on for years. But some kind of way, in this same season where she is under an active investigation, one of the ladies started to ask people about Mary's church, and I was like, nope, this is as far as I can go.
Why? Why did that need to be? See what I'm saying?
Tell me what is happening right now.
Oh, we know what's happening.
And I'm like, nah, no. And then when I heard that Mary, so they shouldn't have released that information mid-season. But when they released that information mid-season that she was no longer going to be in the show, I stopped watching it because she was the only reason I was watching it.
Right.
Because Mary had all the fashions.
Yeah, girl. I mean, down. You know, and I
She
actually
was the one who had the money.
And actually, like after the very first episode, the initial shock of Mary's background, after I was like, I liked her though. That was the thing.
Like the quirkiness of the show. And she was the one who was like, again, you can tell who really got the money.
Right.
Because they don't want to be bothered.
No.
They don't want to be bothered.
Doing their own thing. And see, that's when people like got real money. Like it's just
I tell y'all, I act like I'm rich right now.
Listen,
because when I get it,
you ain't gonna know the difference.
It's gonna take nothing about $200,000 for me to quit talking.
That's
it.
I'm
not arguing with
you. I don't need to be a millionaire.
It ain't gonna take millions.
Girl, I got a raise from work a couple years ago that was very nice, and I stopped. And that's when I turn my nose up at people. I'm just like, I ain't arguing with y'all no more. What the hell ever, girl. Shit.
What'd you say? They only had to add a couple thousand to my check.
It.
And I don't even know y'all.
That's it. I'm not arguing with you about what.
Okay.
So just wait until I start bringing in money from this shit. Ooh.
Girl, I promise y'all, it ain't gonna take me the $250,000.
That's it.
I'm through. I'ma love y'all still, but I'm not over arguing with nobody.
Yeah, we
Mia Ray, I follow Mia Ray. Flamaholic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. If Mia ain't taught me nothing, get your house so comfortable. Because she said this is what the pandemic taught her. Get your house so comfortable that you don't gotta leave.
That's it. And that's where I'm at right now, baby.
And that's what she doing slowly but surely. She bought her house. She just fixing it up. She fixed the upstairs. She going at her own pace.
Right.
Now she doing her basement. She getting workout equipment. She getting her like theater part. So she don't gotta leave. She got a shampoo bowl. She done built a shop in the basement. Yeah. She got a sauna. Yeah. Ain't nobody leaving the house no more to be arguing with y'all.
No. And it's making some of y'all mad and crazy, and y'all out here doing the craziest shit because ain't nobody
want you to be mad and
that's
fuck
it.
With them.
They want you to be mad. That's it right there. Ain't nobody got time for that. If anything, this pandemic taught me, besides the fact that people are nasty as hell, like we discussed a few weeks back, is that I don't have time. I could. If this pandemic would have never happened, I probably wouldn't be in the position I'm in right now to really focus on my business, because I was actually able to be home and just to focus on what I wanted to do. And it wasn't my 9 to 5. So we're just going to keep it at that. Because,
it gave people the opportunity to really focus.
Right.
On what's important to them.
Exactly. Girl.
I mean, because people were passing away so fast, I think it made you say like, oh
yeah.
Let me take this serious.
Yeah. Seriously. Girl.
So what's another? So then we have to talk about social experiment reality.
Yes, definitely. Now that's
what
I still
talk
watch.
About this one first. Because it's the one that I see y'all watching the most, that y'all secretly act like y'all don't watch, but y'all do. And y'all be on there laughing at them people. And all y'all look like busted cans of biscuits. And the other half of y'all is married to busted polar sausages. So let's just talk about my 600-pound life.
Let's talk about it, because I got some shit to say, but go ahead, girl.
Go ahead and say what you got to say, because I think I'm going to end up saying it. So you go first.
Okay. So my thing on my 600-pound life, now I got hooked on it because, yes, at one point in my life, which was not too long ago, I was morbidly obese. And I watched
hold on. Now, wait a minute. Let's stop right here.
Okay.
You was at an unhealthy weight.
There we go.
Because if you are not white and you are rating yourself, Now, I'm not saying it's healthy to carry weight because I am a
Right.
person who needs to lose weight. So
Right.
I'm not saying that it's healthy to carry weight. It is not.
Yeah.
But I have had to tell young people this, young kids who go to the doctor and see their weight based on the chart that the doctor has up.
Right. Oh
And
my
I would say
gosh.
that chart ain't for you.
No.
You ain't white.
But
They didn't make that chart with you in mind.
the same way a lot of these clothing companies aren't made for our bodies, those charts aren't made
Yes.
for our
So I
bodies.
want people to, yes, be aware of your numbers, be aware of your blood pressure, be aware of
Right.
your cholesterol, your sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, be aware of all of that.
Yeah.
Go to the doctor at least once a year and let them draw your blood. If you're not a person who has a primary care physician or you don't go to the doctor regularly, at least go once a year and let them draw your blood so you know your numbers.
Yeah.
And I'm talking thyroid numbers, your iron level. Get all that work done at least one time a year.
Yes.
Because you want to be healthy.
That's yeah, and I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
I don't want people to be calling themselves morbidly obese and all that stuff, those stigmas that they come up with that chart that's not based for Black people. It's based for white people.
Right. Yes.
But yes, you should be healthy.
Yeah.
I know sometimes when I say that, people are like, oh, don't glorify. No, I'm not glorifying being overweight.
No.
It's will make you sick. And take it from me, it's hard to lose weight once you gain it.
Right.
So, okay, go on. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I'm glad you put that in there. I'm glad you put that in there for real. But yeah, so that's when I started watching it because I was like, I need to see people who I'm not, and it was a mental thing for me. And this is going to sound real shady, but I know a lot of people go into it with this same mentality because I've talked to people, especially like when I was taking these classes and everything like that. But you go into it and you watch this show. I started watching it for all the wrong reasons so I could compare myself to those people and be like, oh, I'm not that bad. But
which is what everybody else doing. So
exactly.
You're not alone.
Exactly. So that's when I got into it. And I will say this about the show. It changed my life. I'm not going to lie because I was like, for one, I didn't want to get to that point, regardless if I was still watching it for all the shady reasons. But now I watch it and I'm just like, I just want to help these people, regardless of how ridiculous they are, because I've been there. I may not have been at the point where I was, not able to be weighed on the thing, the things that they go through. Like I don't binge eat, things like that. Like, I wasn't into all of that, but I wasn't no better than them.
Right.
So
and that's why most people watch it. Most people, like you said, most people watch it to say, oh my God, well, at least I don't do that.
Right. To feel better about yourself when
at least I'm not doing that. Let's see, you're right. I mean, you're not alone. A lot of people just won't admit it.
Right.
But you're not alone, and that was the reason why you were watching it. But like you said, it brought some clarity to you about your situation.
Right.
The thing that I see people laugh and but the part that people are missing, there has been some trauma.
Exactly.
That has occurred in the lives of those people.
Almost every episode. That's why you have to go through.
It's not almost.
Yeah.
Every single episode.
And that's why they have people go through counseling. Trauma. Yeah. Yep.
And what people don't realize about themselves, who watch the show and laugh at those people, you may not be eating, but you're probably drinking. If you have suffered a trauma.
Right.
They have just unfortunately picked up a habit that you can see that they're hurting.
Right.
Because they're gaining weight.
And when you open your eyes, that's the point of the show to me. It's like, how did they get to this point? What happened?
That's what the purpose is.
And it's just like the same thing, like you said. Some people eat. Some people drink. Some people do drugs. Some people steal. Some people shop. There's
some
advice.
People are sexually promiscuous. Everybody, if you have suffered some sort of trauma, you're trying to fill the hole if you haven't healed it.
Right.
If you don't address it and you haven't healed it, you're trying to fill that hole. And like Ayan was said, it may not be your fault what happened to you, but it is your responsibility to heal yourself.
Right.
And that's what we're watching when we watch that show, is people go through a healing process. Everybody's not ready for healing.
No.
So I be frustrated when I watch that show and I sit there for 2 damn hours and then people don't get that surgery.
Girl,
hell,
listen.
Yeah, I be mad.
Yeah, mad as hell.
I be like, damn.
You'd be like, Tyler, we were rooting for you.
Man.
Right there. But you know, and then the ones that, oh my gosh, and the ones that know more than Dr. Now.
The ones that lie to his face. But again, it's all a process.
Yeah.
It's a process. Like, they just going through a process.
And you see, like, they do the time not lapse. Ready. Yeah, and some people, they're working with them for a year and they still haven't changed, and some people have. It's different for everybody. And even when you get the surgery, as someone who's had the surgery, when you even have the surgery, after that, it's a process. So just getting there.
Because there are so many people. Now, I just saw this person. They are a mid-grade celebrity. And they have been like, I guess, like, went underground for a little while, worked out, lost all this weight. And I just recently saw their picture on, like, a For You page, or you know how sometimes you push one picture on your For You page on Instagram and you keep scrolling and it'll come like different stuff.
Yeah. I
had recently saw like a before and after picture of him. I was like, dang, she look good. Like, but dang, where's she been? Like, I ain't seen her. Just so happened, I clicked on a live video. She was driving her friend in a car. She gained all the damn weight back.
See, it's easy to do. People.
It is a struggle.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle. Like, I ain't laughing at nobody. Nobody who is trying to lose weight. Like, it is a struggle. Even people who lose weight and then sit and make fun of people or judge people or tell people what they should do, but you're living on a fad diet.
Exactly.
You living on a fad diet.
Keep that weight off for about, especially at our age, keep that weight off for about 5-6 years and then we can talk.
Yeah, and then laugh at people. You still shouldn't be laughing at people.
You still shouldn't be.
But right. Then come and try to tell people what they should do. You know. But don't try to make a mockery. And you know what I thought you was about to say, Danielle?
What?
I thought you were going to say people who are overweight and who be laughing at other overweight people.
Child, that's a whole nother episode. We could do that, child, because I see that all the time.
That's what I thought you was going to say.
Girl.
That's why I said I'm going to let you go, because I'm going to end up saying it.
But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because that pisses
those
me
are other
off.
Things.
Yeah.
Like, we be watching what y'all be doing.
I mean, listen. Yeah.
I'm
not that type of girl. I'm not gonna call you out, but if you do enough, I may inbox you. Yeah,
I just quit fooling with you.
Yeah, that basically, like, you'll get on mute for about 30 days.
Because it says something about the character of person that you are.
Right.
Honestly.
Yeah. So it says more about you than.
And the sad thing is, I have seen overweight people, not necessarily overweight, but I have seen people, quote unquote, take on a healthy lifestyle. And get on the internet and laugh at people who are overweight, and then you got kids that's overweight. How in the fuck does that make any sense? I need somebody to explain it to me.
It's just like, no one's taking you seriously when you can't even get your house together. I mean, let's keep it real.
I'm not even saying that you're supposed to help the kids lose weight, but what kind of person are you that you would do that? I mean, that's odd to me.
It's just, and that just shows where you lose it for me on that level right there. But also, you're just showing that to me, like you said, it's a fad. You're doing this for attention. Yeah, you may be doing it to get healthy and everything like that, but how seriously are you taking it when you're doing it, but your child's still over there eating all day?
And I'm gonna say it again. I'm not even coming at the kid and saying the kid should lose weight. But what I'm saying is, how do you as a person get somewhere and make fun of someone and not even considering your child's feelings?
Right.
Because your kid can see that.
Oh, yeah.
They can see what you're saying and what you're doing. So you don't think that you're crushing their spirit. All they gonna do, I'm gonna tell you right now, as a kid who grew up and was a bigger kid than everybody else around me, and people in my family would make fun of me, you ain't gonna do shit but make that kid gain more weight.
That's it.
Or lose weight and get away from you.
Why don't people understand that? Then they're wondering, like, well, why are you still gaining weight? You think that your criticism at coming at
because
me,
they're probably emotionally eating.
Yeah, that's where, if you watch my 600-pound life, or if you just talk to somebody who is, at a very unhealthy weight, or even they don't even have to be at a very unhealthy weight, just at an unhealthy weight, they have more weight on them. Majority of them are emotionally eating. Yes, some people do just like to eat, but nobody wants to get to that size. I don't care how much you like food. Nobody wants to get to that size.
Most people don't even realize that they're emotionally eating, I don't think.
Because it's psychological. That's where the
because you don't even realize
comes in.
When you're thinking about stuff or when you're upset about something, you just think, I'm gonna grab me a snack.
Yeah.
No, you probably need to take some time and think about what you're thinking about. Are you actually hungry? Did you just have an emotional situation?
Right.
Like, people really don't feel their feelings.
No.
They don't take a moment to just feel their feelings at all. And, I see people making jokes, but I'm going to move on from my 600-pound life because there's one more that we're going to cover, and I'm going to be really fast.
Okay, go ahead, girl.
Is 90 Day Fiance.
I got something to say.
Do 90 Day... Am I covering all the reality TV? But let me tell you, 90 Day Fiance.
We're going to have to do another episode on just reality TV again, but we'll do that at a later time. But go ahead, girl, because I got to go
90
ahead.
90 Day Fiance is something different.
Very different.
Because these people are serious.
That's the thing.
They want to find love. And they be like, and as we all know, I am a reformed internet data. deep in the streets. Okay. Like, but I ain't never crossed no country boundaries. I never thought about doing that.
That's a totally different.
Because there's a lot of intricate parts to that.
Yeah.
When
you start crossing cultural boundaries and everything like that, it's different. It's different enough trying to date somebody out your race. Let's just keep it real.
Listen.
But then when you try to go culturally, child.
Like, I don't think people really... And yeah, y'all be called crossing racial and cultural like boundaries.
I mean, and then be questioning, wondering why y'all arguing all the time, and why you can't get along with this, and why you don't know where you want to live.
You speak English, and this person speaks whatever.
Now that's what really gets me.
I'm not walking around with a phone all day talking about turning your translator on. What? And let me explain what 90 Day Fiance is for people who are like, what's that?
And they got different ones.
So they have two. They have 90 Day Fiance and then 90 days before the 90 days.
Right.
So the 90 Day Fiance is like after they're already in their 3-month period before you have to marry and your visa expires. Like, you get this K1 visa. So you're now in the United States, or the person goes, they have 3, because they have 90 Day Fiance, which is the one when you've already got your visa and you're in the 90-day process to get married. Then it's 90 Day before the 90 days when you've met the person, but you're going to visit them in their country or wherever they are. Then there's 90 days the other way. Where normally it's the people coming from those countries to America, but the other way is when the Americans are going to their country to live and marry them.
Now that was the one I've always watched 90 Day Fiance, but that was the one I really got invested in, was the other way, because that one really got me. But go ahead.
Yes, the other way is like, because the one thing that struck me on one couple with the other way was like the lady had, I think it's Qatar. She had met this guy. He was younger than her. She was going to go to Qatar to live. But I want Americans everywhere. And I say the same thing about Brittany Reiner being arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Americans have got to stop leaving this country thinking you can force people to live
Yes.
how you live over here.
Right.
The stuff you do over here, you cannot go to other people's country and do that.
No, and especially when you got families and stuff involved, child.
Yes, you have to respect their culture.
Mm-hmm.
You have to respect the way that they live.
And I know who you're talking about too. This woman was, like you said, she was older. She had
She's a
had her
white
family.
woman.
She's a white woman. I'm just gonna put that
And
out
he
there.
was I don't he Qatar is what, a Muslim state,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I
But
believe
I don't
so.
forget what his exact nationality was.
Mm-hmm.
But she would like, they had like a ceremony, like he actually married her.
Mm-hmm.
They had the whole 3-day process, and she would like inappropriately talk about sex.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very, that's a private conversation. Like, you don't speak about stuff like that.
Right.
She was buying him like sex toys.
Child.
And he was like flipping out. Like, it was just inappropriate, all of it.
You have to respect other people's cultural beliefs and stuff like that regardless. You can't go into a situation and think that you're just going to do what you want to do and change when you go into another country. You can't do that. And white folks, I'm sorry, white folks got a problem with it. That's why y'all always getting clogged and shit like that when y'all go over there. But go ahead.
Yep. Like, and that's really what she did. Like, she really embarrassed him.
Mm-hmm.
And again, in their culture, it's not appropriate for women to be on the street and to just leave by themselves and go to places.
Mm-hmm.
But she got up one day and just left and went out, and he didn't know where she was. And like, it just caused a lot of like issues in their relationship. And he told her he don't want to be with her no more. He don't want to marry her because, again, I always have this question when I see Americans doing this to other people, like Jenny and Submit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you knew what you signed up for.
Right.
This is where he lives. This is his family. This is his culture.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot come in and change this is his way of life.
Right. And then her whole argument back was, I'm an adult. I'm grown. I've done this. I've done that. Okay, that's fine, but it's different now, baby girl.
But don't you want to be his wife?
Mm-hmm.
You told him you wanted to marry him.
Sacrifice, girl. Sacrifice.
You've been fussing at him for not wanting to be with you and marry you.
If it's that big of a deal, why don't you just go back home and just not marry him? If this is that big of a deal to you to have to change these things, then you just don't need to be married to him.
Exactly. Girl, that 90-Day Fiance, y'all, if it's one reality TV, you like, I want to start with something. Watch 90-Day Fiance. Your mind will be blown.
And then don't forget the what is the one where you have the other couples from 90 Day Fiance, and then they'll sit there and they'll watch the other couples and they'll comment.
Oh yeah, Pillow Talk.
There you go. Now that one's funny. I'm not gonna lie. That's when that was the first show, because I got into 90 Day Fiance later. But that was the first thing I watched. My grandmother was watching it, and I was like, what is this? What are they talking about? Because I've heard of 90 Day Fiance, but I never watched it. Mm-hmm. And then I saw that, and I was like, oh, they were on the show at one point, and now they're talking about the people that are on there now. Girl, the shade. And I love every minute of it. But the thing, too, is they see themselves back.
Right.
Yeah, so that's, but if you're going to start with the newer reality, quote unquote, newer reality TV show, do 90 Day Fiance for 90
Day Fiance.
Yeah.
That's really, to me, again, I like social experiments. Mm-hmm. That's the best one.
Right. And you know what? And we will have to do another part later on about this, because I do want to get into more of the psychology and things like that of shows like Love and Hip Hop and Flavor of Love and I Love New York. Shows like that are more that's
like ratchet reality.
Ratchet reality, where that started. Black Ink Crew, stuff like that. I want to get more into discussing those. But
we need to make a list of those, because we probably don't watch those.
Right.
Or we probably used to.
I used to watch all of them, and now I'm just like, no, I can't do it. People are like, you watch a new Love and Hip Hop? I didn't know it still came on. I'm just saying.
It still comes on. Now, sometimes I record it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another one that I fast forward through because
Just yeah.
I'm glad to see Rashida and Kirk doing good though.
Yeah, I heard they were doing good. Now I do still I don't follow Kirk on social media, but I do follow
Oh, neither.
Rashida. So yeah, I mean
Yeah.
she seems to be doing good and much better than they were at
Yeah,
one
I'm glad
point.
they're having a better outcome than they were
Yeah,
before.
yeah, definitely. Because I mean, you like to. I mean, because even though, and I know we got to wrap this up, but even though you see these couples and they're going through problems and this, that, and the third that's going on in these reality shows that we're like, oh, all in tune and everything like that. Regardless if they're doing it just for the show or not, it's not a good look, regardless if it's real or if it's just
Right.
for the show. So you really do, at the end of the day, if these are really real true married couples, especially like Rashida and Kirk, who have been together for a long time and have kids and all this other stuff, businesses and everything,
Right.
you do want it to work out, because obviously
And
there
we
is
will. You
something
know what made me
there.
just think about this? We
Mm-hmm.
are going to do a part 2 in the future
Mm-hmm.
because we really have to talk about how TV,
Mm-hmm.
specifically reality TV, changed the entire culture, the Black culture.
Yeah.
Because if we think about TV when we were young,
Mm-hmm. Oh, girl.
even if you think about videos,
Mm-hmm.
when y'all can say what y'all want to say about Bill Cosby, but that's another day for another day.
Right.
But Bill Cosby always had those sweatshirts on.
Mm-hmm.
He always
He had
um
those
somebody
subliminals.
coming in my house. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right. Oh, okay.
I just hit mute on my mic. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so we have to kind of pay attention to when we watched TV back then,
Mm-hmm.
college was promoted.
Yes.
Even
Yes.
if it wasn't, I'm not just talking about HBCUs,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember when Jay did Don't Walk Away. I think
Mm-hmm.
one of them had on a Michigan outfit, one had on
Mm-hmm.
USC, and the other one, I think she might have had on like Yale or something like that. But
It was fashionable and it was
education
it was
was
promoted.
promoted in
Mm-hmm.
everything you saw.
Mm-hmm.
The guys from Baby I'm Yours, who's that?
Yeah,
Shy?
shy, yep.
Shy, they were alphas from Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were actual students, actual
Right.
graduates. So look, college was so promoted that we didn't think about anything but going to school.
Mm-hmm.
But now you turn and reality TV came into the picture, and now all these kids think about is, I want my weave purple. I
Mm-hmm.
want my nails. I want to do lashes. Like everything just shifted.
Yeah, where's my I need to get makeup, get money. Who can do my BBL? All that stuff. It's just like, it's
Like
just
nobody cares about being a teacher anymore.
no.
Nobody cares about being a nurse, a
Mm-mm.
doctor.
And that's why when we see like this younger generation, when we actually see them like going to school and promoting and getting showing that they've been accepted, and everything like that, that needs to be celebrated, because that's not at the forefront like it was with us in the 90s.
Exactly. And it's our job, those of us who came up in the era where we promoted education, where
Mm-hmm.
education was a thing, we need to encourage younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
Quick story, and we're about to go.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend is a principal,
Right.
assistant principal, and she had a student who, so Central State came to the school.
Mm-hmm.
There was a kid who was like a kid in the 12th grade, mind you,
Right.
who had no thought of going to college,
Mm-hmm.
and a kid with good grades.
See.
We're talking about not no 2 point nothing. And they just expressed that they didn't think about going to school.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said, well, what were you going to do? I don't know. I guess I was just going to get a job.
Mm.
We should not be letting kids, I don't even care if you got a 2.0.
Right.
It's the school out there that's going to take you.
Exactly.
If you want to get an education and further yourself, I don't care if you want to do hair.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't be letting kids graduate from high school without giving them all the options.
Exactly.
And I don't care. I'm not saying you got to be an educator, you got to work in the school system. But if you come in contact with teenagers on a daily basis
Mm-hmm.
in your family, if you see the same kids every day when you go to the corner store, you should be talking to those kids, asking them, what do you plan to do when you graduate from high school?
Right. It doesn't have to be what do you want to do for the rest of your life, because I mean, let's keep it real.
No. What
What
is
do you
your
want to
plan when
do
you graduate
after?
from high school?
Exactly. Because they got to have a plan, and it needs to be put into place. We were told, well, I can speak for myself. I was told by my junior year in high school that I had to start thinking, not I had to make a decision, but I really had to start thinking about what I wanted to do after high school. Did I want to go to
I mean, we got to
college?
get these kids somewhere.
Yeah. It has to
Because
start
I
somewhere.
know this is like a sensitive thing, but Danielle, have you stopped and thought that 4 girls, 4 women who we have gone to high school with have lost their sons
Yeah,
in
that's
the past 18 months?
right. Yeah. I mean, and seriously, yeah.
Like and I'm talking about young guys
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about 20,
Yeah.
21,
Mm-hmm.
like 20, like we're talking about young
They haven't
guys.
even lived yet.
So we've got to show, and not to say that those kids were doing anything wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but just to say, who knows what kind of kids they came in contact with that
Right.
hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't nothing out here for kids, but for especially for black men,
Right.
but death and destruction and drugs.
And that's what they want.
So we've got to say, do you want to be a plumber? Because I know everybody don't want to go to college, go to a HBCU.
Right.
Do you want to be a plumber? Do you want to be an electrician? You want to cut hair? You want to be a barber?
Mm-hmm.
You need help filling out the forms?
Yep. And if you
Offer your help, because they're not always going to ask you because they're embarrassed.
Yeah, they're not going to ask you for help.
So offer it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need me to help you fill the paperwork out?
Right.
Do you need me to help you fill your FAFSA out?
Mm-hmm.
Application fees ain't but $35. Y'all eat $35 in a meal.
Listen.
Pay for the kids' application fee.
Mm-hmm.
Do something good to reach back into the community. We got to stop saying what's wrong and start being the solution for what's right.
Girl.
And that's all I'm going to say.
That's a perfect note to end it on. Yes. And
well, y'all have an amazing week.
Yes, have an amazing week, and we will be back next week with another show. And as always, we want to thank you for tuning in to our episode. Have a good week, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.